Welcome. My name is Daryl Cronin, and I want to welcome everyone here today. Group 4, consisting of Daryl Cronin, Joy Hartley, Riddy Shaw, Nikki Kelly, and Danielle Brown, want to introduce you to our Comcast presentation. Our objective for this paper presentation was to comb the globe to identify that right strategic location for Comcast Next Call Center to provide quality customer service. Assessing which country is the correct one involves using a purposeful, strategic method to compare the various countries, evaluating each location with Comcast's mission in mind, the customer experience. The following was our methodology in assessing the relevant factors. Wages, low cost of living. Using a systematic measuring system, each country was compared. Prices for rent, average restaurants prices, grocery prices for comparable products, and buying basic goods and services in an area were all compared. Using statistics in the World Bank, annual pay rate was also compared. High unemployment. Using data from the International Labour Organization at the World Bank, we compared national unemployment rates. The annual turnover rate in call centers internationally is between 30 and 45%, so it's crucial to pick a location with a higher unemployment rate. English proficiency. Working in a call center requires more than formal English skills. It requires personnel who can chat with an unhappy American consumer. It requires familiarity and comfort with speaking English. It is imperative for Comcast to settle in a country where there is a high percentage of the populace who are comfortable speaking English. To assess this, we use the EF English Proficiency Index, which examines and ranks the level of English proficiency of the top 88 English-speaking countries in the world. English-speaking ability and cultural familiarity with American norms are crucial factors in our consideration of where Comcast should open their next call center. English proficiency should be paired with a country which has a cultural similarity with the US also. Cultural issues. Wherever Comcast decides to pick their next call center, it is crucial for Comcast to find a country that is a good cultural fit. Using Hofstede's 5 cultural dimensions, we compared each of the countries on our fan list to address their cultural appropriateness. Could they work in a call center with American customers? Working with American consumers requires a specific cultural demeanor and a general familiarity with American cultural norms. Infrastructure issues. The World Bank releases an annual report ranking the top 160 countries in the world in regards to their infrastructure. A country that does not have a functional and efficient national infrastructure will be a poor fit for Comcast. Although Comcast will be using local subcontractors, it is crucial for business efficiency to factor in this important consideration into the equation. Another fundamental feature is internet and cable exposure. Are the locals comfortable and familiar with using and talking about cable access and internet access? Ease of doing business. Both the Heritage Foundation and the World Bank release annual reports addressing the ease of doing business in a location and overall economic freedom in individual countries. Comcast wants to build productive, long-term relationships in individual countries. Considering safety, security, legal, and economic rights are all issues that should be factored into the decision about where Comcast should start a new call center. Country comparison. Utilizing this methodology, we were able to identify 4 strategic locations that would help Comcast achieve their goals, in addition to using the Philippines as a benchmark call center location. Some of the highlights of what these 4 countries could offer include Poland. Poland offers high English proficiency, a skilled workforce, and developed infrastructure and call center industry. Poland has recently had considerable development in the broadband and mobile sectors. They have a fast-growing, stable economy and are the largest recipient of EU structural and cohesion funds. These funds support continued infrastructure development, including improved internet access and developing smart cities. According to Global Edge, South Africa has a high market potential index. Additionally, the large population provides an abundant labor force with affordable wages. South Africa also offers high English proficiency amongst its residents. Portugal's advantages lie in its proximity to EU nations as well as the US, easy doing business, political stability, and existing call center industry. Portugal also has a well-developed physical and IT infrastructure. We use Costa Rica and the Philippines as our benchmark locations due to the existing presence of Comcast call centers and attractive market features. Costa Rica's attractiveness lies in their nearshore location, and is becoming increasingly attractive for FDI. Costa Rica is considered a low country risk in multiple categories and has a high unemployment rate coupled with high English proficiency. The Philippines has one of the most well-established call center industries, offering high English proficiency, familiarity with American FDI, as well as attracting future FDI. The Philippines has a growing economy and relatively low corruption. Methodology. Our preliminary vetting process included broad requirements for countries that each group member could use to identify countries of interest. Factors are weighed differently due to their assumed importance to Comcast. For example, English proficiency was weighted the greatest, followed by easy doing business, unemployment rate, and finally cost of living. While the cost of living was included as a primary factor, it was recognized that there is sometimes an opportunity cost for attaining heavier weighted factors. On to the full picture analysis. Throughout the process of choosing the most optimal country for Comcast to start a new call center, there was a variety of factors to consider. Ensuring the country had both a skilled workforce and a high unemployment rate was essential so the hiring pool would be strong and willing to come work for Comcast. A country whose population had an affinity to learn and speak English is also imperative to the success of a new Comcast call center. Infrastructure stability, advantageous geographical location, and established call center industry presence were all elements to use as comparisons among the countries. When assessing Poland, research shows the Polish ownership of bank shares has risen in recent months, and there's a looming nationalization political movement occurring that can steer away American business. Fortunately for Poland, but unfortunately for Comcast, Poland has the second lowest unemployment rate in the European Union. This can make it very difficult to attract and keep skilled workers. After further research, South Africa was found to not have the infrastructure stability or the infrastructure for broadband for a call center to be truly successful. South Africa also has a low percentage of internet users, which would indicate a lack of industry familiarity, decreased understanding of American culture, and the need to be technologically connected. Costa Rica has high taxes that would not be advantageous to setting up a new call center. It has low cellular and broadband subscriptions, which would indicate again a lack of industry familiarity, decreased understanding of American culture, and the need to be technologically connected. Lastly, the Philippines is a popular place to have call centers for other large companies. This might prove to be a disadvantage for setting up a new call center, since there is an oversaturation of call centers in the Philippines. The Philippines also have high tax rates, which would not be helpful when setting up a new call center. So, Portugal was our final choice. Why? The quotes shown on this slide are from an Ernst & Young article that discussed the attractiveness of investing in Portugal. Comcast has made it clear the listed criteria on the top of their priority list for their new venture. After doing research, we could not agree more that these are the categories we should be focusing on. Country comparison. Many of the country complaints stem from language barriers. Portugal is a great option because of their high English proficiency and education level. The ability to speak English well allows them to effectively communicate with customers. Portugal has a high proficiency EPI score of 60.02 and is ranked 16 out of 32 European countries and 18th EFEPI out of the total 80 countries. This criteria is one of the most important to us when making our choice. Labour costs in Portugal are also low compared to other countries that are in the same ballpark for English proficiency and education. Labour wages have stayed pretty consistent over the past 2 years, which is great for our client. Labour costs are ranked at 103.25 index points, lower than the other competitive countries. Although Portugal's annual salary costs appear high, their rankings and the other measures align well with Comcast's objectives. In addition, cost of living in the country is affordable as well. Unemployment is high within the youth population of Portugal. About 20% of the youth in Portugal are unemployed. This high unemployment rate would work out well to benefit our client. The infrastructure in Portugal is affordable compared to the other high English proficiency countries while maintaining high quality. Portugal is ranked 23 for the overall logistics performance score by the World Bank. Specifically, Portugal scored 3.25 on infrastructure. This score proves that it is relatively efficient to do business in the region. In addition, there is a 70.4 internet penetration by Portuguese public. This is another great indicator that infrastructure in Portugal is fit for our client. This brings us to the next point of ease of doing business. Portugal is ranked 34 out of 190 economies when it comes to ease of doing business, an increase from last year. This score is not particularly impressive. However, it is one that our client can work with to be able to work in a timely manner. Portugal and the US display many similarities when it comes to the Hofstede measure of long-term orientation. Both countries prefer a normative thought culture, which will work out well to our client's advantage when setting up shop. Some of the tech giants that have located major call center hubs in Portugal include Google and Microsoft. The existing call center industry in Portugal is quite prolific. This industry is adding thousands of much-needed jobs while other industries shed them. According to DW News, they join countries like Bulgaria, Ireland, and Portugal as outsourcing leaders in Europe. While many call centers in Portugal service the European market, well-known multinational corporations such as Concentrix, Convergix, and Teleperformance also provide services to American companies outsourcing. Teleperformance boasts 5,000 call center jobs in Lisbon, attracting youth from other European nations. As you can see, we picked Portugal as a country we think is the best fit to be Comcast's next call center location. Now that we've finished our presentation, does anyone have any questions for us? Thank you.